Can I keep this? No. Can I keep this? Yeah, sure.
Hello, I'm Dylan, founder of the Inspector Harry Hole Foundation for Victims of Adultery. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming you to the most important episode of Bargain Binge that has been or will ever be recorded. Today is a momentous occasion, for the greatest minds in Norwegian film history are gathering here to celebrate. With me today, I have Evan, head of the crime thriller novel wing at the Norwegian Library of Congress. Hello, Evan.
Hello, Dylan. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well. And also to our other guest tonight, Aaron, professor of Hole Studies at Bergen University.
Well, happy holidays to you, everyone, including everyone out there in our audience. Thank you for joining us in this historic event.
Yes, for today marks 4 years to the day since the release, well, the American release, of the 2017 Thomas Alfredson film, The Snowman.
Cinema was changed forever.
It was that day that we truly formed a bond that would carry us through the rest of our lives. We will never know anything but ourselves anymore. So The Snowman is a movie based off of a book written by Joe Nesbo, or maybe Yo Nesbo. I don't know Norwegian names very well, but it's a part of this series called the Harry Hole series.
We should just get it right out of the way right here, right now.
I thought we would make it through at least a few minutes without having to say Harry Hole.
It's pronounced Harry Hule, I believe, in Norwegian. However, the people who made this movie made the brilliant decision of making the characters pronounce it Harry Hole. That is not a joke.
Ah, great Harry Hole.
The English translation of the book, and then in the movie, it's Harry Hole. On top of that, the character is an inspector at the police station. So his name is Inspector Harry Hole.
Her husband asked specifically for Inspector Hole.
Which you figure you would find inscrolled on a t-shirt on the boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland, but...
You can't make this shit up, man.
That is something Bart Simpson would say to Moe at the bar. Like, Inspector Harry Hole. I can't believe they didn't, shift his name or write it in English how it's pronounced in Norwegian, or anything to avoid calling your protagonist Inspector Harry Hole.
It translates in Norwegian from Norwegian to hill. So Harry Hill.
That's a name. That's not funny. That's not naturally hilarious.
I wouldn't take pause to explain that to my parents or anything if I mentioned... I read the book. It's like, imagine introducing this to someone you don't want to hear this as the Harry Hole series. I'm reading a Harry Hole book.
Well, it's just amazing that no one seemed to notice or think about the implications of calling him Harry Hole, except for apparently Marco Beltrami, who scored the movie, because he's naming tracks shit like Down the Harry Hole.
Yeah, one of the best parts of the movie, too, the soundtrack. Marco Beltrami brings it, but especially the titles of the songs, they're top tier.
He really knew what he was doing, more than anybody on this project. He knew what was happening and the tone he should carry with how he titled those songs.
Well, nobody knew what the tone of this movie was going to be, because I think should mention that, like, the thing that really made me want to see this in the theaters in the first place, and we'll get to that story in a moment, but it was the trailer. It was like this weird, like, moody thing with this, like, indie pop song or whatever.
He's been watching us the whole time. Building snowmen, cutting things up into little pieces. He's taunting us. If we don't find him, this is never going to stop.
Another missing woman.
There's something we're not seeing.
What matters most is that we celebrate the way this has brought us together.
Anyone can see that he's trying to hide something.
You can't force the pieces to fit.
You could have saved them.
No?
Gave you all the clues.
What's this about? Is, you know, there's a dead person and it's coming out in October, so it's got to be like a Halloween appropriate movie.
Yeah, and the trailer has like a creepy donkey mask scene, and like just some like it looks like there's like a cult, like there's like weird culty elements like to the imagery and stuff, and it's like where's this going?
Yeah, the trailer just makes you think it's like a Fincher movie or something. Okay, serial killer in cold weather. It's, you know, it also makes you believe that the killer has some kind of weird childlike tendencies. It's like, okay, it's like I'll see that for Halloween, which we did.
Yeah, it takes a couple lines from the movie and a couple pictures and stuff, and like emphasizes them in a way that makes it seem like the killer has some kind of like Peter Pan, like Neverland shit where he never like psychologically grew up, and that seems kind of interesting. But then, you know, the movie does not handle any of those ideas really.
Yeah, and then you see the trailer, then you look into it. Martin Scorsese was originally attached to direct this picture.
Yes. I believe he still has, a producer credit?
He has a producer credit still on the film, but, you know, how much does that actually mean?
Yeah, it can mean anything. Especially like executive producer, it's like he could have been a hands-on, there everyday guy, or like never looked at the movie once he stopped being the director. And I think it's probably the second one.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the latter.
Well, it's also notable that frequent editor of Martin Scorsese films, Thelma Schumacher, is credited as one of two editors, but that's also confusing because you don't know exactly what she contributed. So there's a murky little contribution.
An Academy Award-winning editor. Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie's like the worst edited movie I've ever seen in my life.
Curious indeed. Should
we go through our experience of watching this in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
we should. You go ahead.
Okay. So, you know, as we mentioned, we saw the trailer when this was going to come out, and we said, oh, yeah, we'll go watch this. God, and I want to say it was like a evening, like maybe early afternoon on a weekday, where we all went out to see it. We get into the theater.
It was the discount ticket day. It was Tuesday. The week after opening weekend, when a lot of movies have a lot of people going to see them because they're discounted, they're brand new.
Yes, but we walk into this theater and it is fucking empty. There is not a soul. And we're like, okay, cool. So we all sit down. And usually, you know, sometimes you'll see some people walk in like 5 minutes after the movie started because they're late for whatever reason. It always happens. But no one walked in the theater. We had the entire theater to ourselves.
And we were deeply intoxicated. And we were ready to get down. This is the best situation to see a movie in. You have the place to yourself, and you are off your ass. It's perfection.
And what unfolds in front of our eyes would change our lives forever. Because the Snowman is one of the most confusing,
dumbfounding,
indecipherable,
confounding,
unintelligible,
unfounded, insane, reckless. It's all of those things and more, really.
Yeah, Yeah, strung together with duct tape.
Clearly unfinished.
Yes, this movie is not completed.
Yeah, which is wild. Because, like, with movies of this budget level, and the fact that it's based on a popular thing, and they clearly wanted to make it a franchise, the movies are never fully incomplete when they're like that, because they always go back for reshoots and shit. Reshoots are such a common part of the process now for movies of this scale. Like, you never see something where they just went, oh, well, today's the last day to shoot. We didn't get 20% of the movie. Well, time to go.
Oh well.
Martin Scorsese fucking produced this, like, apparently. But there wasn't enough clout going around to complete the fucking movie.
Yeah, so only 80% of the shooting script was shot, which does not mean that 80% of the movie was shot. And there's, like, Dan Olsen has a video about this, and he estimates it's probably around, like, 50 to 60 or something.
Even the director agrees. In an interview with the Norwegian national broadcaster, the NRK, Alfredson suggested that due to the rushed shooting schedule of 30 days and limited access to locations, as much as 10 to 15% of the script hadn't actually been filmed, leaving huge gaps in the story that needed to be either bridged or restructured in editing. I would suggest that things are even more dire than that makes it sound. Failing to shoot 15% of the film is going to leave literal plot holes so large that the only solution is to excise the plot lines entirely, leaving even more of the script on the cutting room floor. The end result is delirious.
This is nowhere close to being a complete movie, but then in the end it's still cut to 2 hours long.
They still shoved it into theaters to an unsuspecting public.
Yeah, mostly Europeans, because this movie opened to like $3 million or some shit in America, because no one cared about it, and the director publicly was like, I didn't finish the movie before it came out, so nobody went to see it, but I guess due to the popularity of the book, it made some European money.
Yeah, it's... We were one of the handful of people that saw this movie in America. It was such a huge bomb. Nobody cares about this franchise in America, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's part of the, like, Scandinavian not true crime, but, like, crime novel wave. And it's like, you got, like, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and stuff, but there's not that much of... It's not that big in America, is it?
No. Like, there's a little bit, like the Killing TV show, I believe, is like an American adaptation of a Norwegian or something thing. The Snowman, of course. The Bridge is like a Scandinavian show that they ported to be a Mexico and America thing. But that's the thing, is like most of those shows like strip out the visual elements of the original work. Like, it's pretty much just Girl with the Dragon Tattoo that, like, carried over here, like, fully. So, like, that trend didn't really become a real thing in America, except for, you know, in a certain subsection of people who actually read books. And no one in America or Europe actually knows how to read. So, it's a weird trend, and it's not something... Like, one of the big trends in movie making is you make your movie off of some book. If you're going to do it off of some book, it's something that people were forced to read in school. That's why those 90s, like, Shakespeare adaptations and shit exist. But no one's getting forced to read The Snowman, which is, like, the 7th book in the series or some shit.
Yeah, it's the 7th book in the series. Like, I read the book. I'll give you details. It's... like, so different from the movie in that there are, like, characters that are clearly recurring from the franchise, and then you watch the movie and they are completely absent or a completely different thing. The book is more cinematic. It's like the book,
that's ironic.
You read it, and... like, there are chapters where it's like, wow, this was designed to be put into a movie. Like, it's so screenplay-like. And then you watch the movie and it doesn't happen. Stuff from the perspective of a victim where it's like a cat and mouse game, like running through the forest. The climax is like very visual and none of it's in the movie.
Yeah, the movie, like, in terms of its like layout of set pieces, is one of the least cinematic things possible.
Yeah, there's no building tension or like it's not an investigation, really.
Yeah, and you don't really even have, like, sequences. Things just happen, and then the next thing happens.
Another thing we should go over to preface the conversation about the movie itself is the poster.
Oh, yeah. If you know about this film at all, it's because you know the poster.
It became a meme because it's just a white background with blue text that's like looks like it's scribbled by a child. The text reads, "Mr. Police, period. You could have saved her. I gave you all the clues." And then below that is a crudely drawn snowman with like a dirt face, and it's so funny. And people saw that shit and immediately thought it was hilarious, so it became a meme.
It was a huge meme. It was all over my Twitter feed, and dude, people still reference that meme on podcasts I listen to.
Really? Okay.
It's insane. Like, once every few weeks, I hear a reference to the Mr. Police poster. It's insane.
I was under the impression it was kind of a one-hit wonder kind of meme. That's fascinating.
No, it's if you know, you know. It goes on with the true of heart, you know?
But did those people see the movie? Fuck no.
Yeah, clearly.
Dude, outside of Dan Olson, there's like no discourse about that. Like, no one fucking talked about it. No one made videos about it.
No one reviewed it. The people who did review it were just like, it was kind of boring, I guess. It looks pretty beautiful, though. And that's all they have to say about it.
They were like, oh, there were shots of Norway. I guess Norway looks nice. And it's completely ignoring the fact that the movie looks like shit.
It's almost like just because you're shooting in a pretty location, it doesn't mean that you have good cinematography.
It's so desaturated, and like the framing is often just strange.
It frequently is going for very specific, like, weird stuff, like people looking through windows and things. But it's always, like, they don't lens it in a way that feels, like, disturbing, like most films do. It's just flat. So, like,
it's just flat wides.
So it looks like it's like fucking Gap commercial or something.
Oh, it looks like a car commercial, like a lot.
Yeah. So if you don't know, you like use different lenses for different effects, and it changes how like a shot feels like space wise. But this just feels like it was shot on like really cheapo news camera that doesn't actually have a proper like lens on it. It's just like built in like a super low end camera.
I'm sure it was shot on a fucking Airy that cost $50,000, but it looks like nothing.
Oh yeah.
If you put a long lens on it for like when someone's looking through a window, and like the Bourne movies do this when he's like interacting with like the CIA and stuff, it feels like you're like peering in, like you're not supposed to be there, and it adds discomfort. And you're supposed to feel discomfort because these shots are frequently from the perspective of the killer, but they're just shot flat, and they look like nothing.
Absolutely insane how visually incompetent that this is. But I think that subject leads us right into the beginning of the movie, because boy, is it ugly. We start with a portrait of a family in distress as a young boy is entangled in a dramatic relationship between his mother and her lover, whose name is Uncle Jonas.
Wait, are you saying Uncle Jonas is here?
Mom! Uncle Jonas is here!
But it's not Tuesday today.
No, it's not Tuesday today. But it is! He's here!
So Uncle Jonas comes over, and they have a study session as a whole family.
This is like the fucking most confusing opening scene of a movie like I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you don't understand what the nature of their relationship is at all.
You don't know who any of them are. They just start studying for history homework.
He brings like gas into the house, implying that they like never fucking leave.
And some groceries or something.
And sits it down, and there's this prolonged sequence of just watching the mom climb down the stairs, and you're like, what is happening? Every shot is, like, just off in some way, and none of them cut together perfectly.
And every edit is like, they did it, like, they held on the shot for too long or for too, like, little. Everything is jank.
It disorients you, like, so hard immediately. Like, we, in the theater, instantaneously were like, oh shit. Oh shit, this is gonna be something. The Uncle Jonas is just asking him his questions about Norwegian history, I guess. You know, he just dates and, like, basic information, and then the kid gets one wrong, and he, like, keeps, like, hounding him for the answer.
On what date did the Norwegian Parliament hold its first election after the war?
July
Don't
6th.
guess.
And then the kid just doesn't know it, so then he abruptly slaps the mom out of her chair.
August 12th, 1945.
You have to help him more.
Which causes coffee beans to fly out of her head or something, because there's just coffee beans everywhere.
I don't know where they came from, but yeah, coffee beans fall over the floor, and for some reason the kid's first instinct is to grab the coffee beans, run outside, build a snowman, and then use the coffee beans to make the face of the snowman.
Yeah, I think the chapter in the book dedicated to this has, like, weird, like, focus on the beans, but it, like, ties together in some sort of, like, lyrical way, but this is just, there's just beans.
I don't understand why is the kid reacting so, like, nonchalantly to what's going on?
But why does he like Uncle Jonas? I don't understand.
But it's like, bro, he's abusing your mother
in front of you.
And he's being mean to you about your history homework. It's like there's no part of it that makes any sense for him.
He's not fatherly to him or, like, kind to him in any way. He's very cold, very pulled back, and abusive. And I don't understand where he's like, yeah, Uncle Jonas is here.
And he's so excited to see him that he even creeps on Uncle Jonas while he's fucking his mom. Because there's a very strange window in the master bedroom of this house that is at the top of the ceiling that you could just look into.
Yeah, it allows you to peer into the bedroom from the hallway. And this is a reoccurring element throughout the whole movie, is that every house that we are in has these weird interior windows. And I just need to know, is this a thing that, like, exists in Norway?
Yeah, do Norwegians actually have, like, a window from their child's bedroom into their bedroom?
Because if so, that's really fucking weird, and I want to know why.
Can you ever get to fuck? Like,
without your, like, child looking in on you?
Well, and also a theme is that there's just shots through glass, just through windows, constantly.
Every fucking shot is through a fucking window, like the whole movie. Or in the reflection. There's a lot of reflection shots, and it's just fucking... But it doesn't build, like, a mood or atmosphere. It's just weird.
To close out the opening, we have Uncle Jonas look up to see that the boy is watching them fuck, and he gets really mad all of a sudden, and, like, gets up.
The kid's mom is like,
I'm going to tell your wife that he's your son. And then she can tell the rest of your family.
And then he's like, all right, bet, you'll never see me again. So he gets up and runs out of the house.
But then he gets in his car, and as soon as he closes the door, the mom comes running and screaming out of the house, begging for him to come back.
As does the kid. He's like, no, Uncle Jonas, don't go. Why are you sad that he's leaving?
There's, like, nothing that tells you anything about the relationship. It's like, what is going on? So they chase him, and importantly, in a red Volvo station wagon, and they chase him through the beautiful countryside of Norway. The countryside's beautiful. It doesn't look like it because it's desaturated and gross. and it just looks scummy on the cars. But then Uncle Jonas somehow gets away. He gets the lead that they can't even see him anymore. And the first thing that the mom does is drive off of the road onto an iced-over lake. She went from not caring to being desperate, and then being desperate enough that she's going to kill herself because she's lost him in that moment.
Yeah, she just lets the car drift off into the ice, and the kid's like, "Mom, what's going on here? Why are you not steering the car anymore?"
He has to pull the emergency brake.
Yeah, the kid pulls the emergency brake. The car comes to a halt, and then all of a sudden the ice begins to crack, and the kid's like, "Oh shit, we got to get out of here." He gets out and he tries to get his mom out, but she's still just staring into the void, she's just catatonic. And he's like, "Mom, come on, open the door!
Open the door! Mom, come on!
Open the door!" And he's trying to force his mom out, but she just wordlessly sinks to her icy grave.
And that's the cold open of the movie. That's what's supposed to set the tone for you, and just one of the most bafflingly edited, written, just everything about it is absurd. And that's what led us into this picture. After this cold open, we're introduced to our hero, who is introduced via a opening credit scene with random B-roll of a Norwegian park with text that's poorly tracked onto the camera movements, so it looks like a first attempt by a high school student, and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool, honey." But Harry Hole is in the middle of a park in a children's playground playhouse, I guess, and there's just a bench inside, and he's just sleeping on it.
Yeah, he has a bottle of vodka.
Before you even see his face, you see that bottle of vodka in his hand as he drops it.
Yeah, so he's just drunk in a fucking children's playground.
Do you think he's supposed to be an alcoholic, or?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But he just gets up and he mutters fuck as these intolerable children run screaming past him. And he just walks off into his day as the mothers at the playground look confusedly at him.
Where the fuck is that?
They audio design those kids like old movies do, like cats, where they're just meowing every second they're on frame.
They're so loud. It's so miserable, but Harry just wanders through the city of Oslo until he gets to his apartment. And he climbs up a spiral staircase to, wow, the opening was amazing, and now we're already at the next masterpiece scene.
Oh, yes. This scene is also fucking amazing. He approaches his door, but not before lighting a cigarette, because he's, in addition to being an alcoholic, he's a chain smoker. And he opens his door, and he hears a weird noise. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" So he walks in cautiously, thinking there might be someone in his house. And as he approaches the kitchen, he reaches behind
a stack of records
on his bookshelf and pulls out a fucking gun.
And there's a massive jump cut in that shot where he's in one side of the room and then it cuts to him being on the other, holding the gun already.
And then he keeps walking and he sees a dog, and it cuts to a close-up of a dog licking water off. And then it cuts to this man in a hazmat suit. He's spraying some kind of chemicals, and the hose breaks, and so it startles Harry, and so Harry whips around in the most poorly cut action you've ever seen, and he fucking fires a shot at this guy.
It ricochets off of his table and knocks over a portrait.
And somehow this guy in the hazmat suit did not hear the gunfire.
He did not notice.
To be fair, in the audio design of the film, it barely produced a noise.
Yeah, the gun does sound like a children's toy.
Sure, let's say he didn't hear it, okay? I can accept that. But then he fucking walks up to Harry as Harry's still holding the gun pointed at him and just like, hey bro, how's it going?
You know there's a bunch of mold in your house?
Yeah, he acts completely nonchalantly and it's like, what the fuck?
And here goes the entire clip of him saying stuff.
Harry Ho!
Dry rot throughout the whole building, and I'm afraid we found some mold behind the walls.
Aspergillus. Toxic and pathogenic. Now, your landlord let me in to spray the apartment. I'm going to have to take all these panels off. And this is above your bed. Jesus Christ. Is there anywhere else that you could stay? The air in here is so bad, you're actually killing your houseplants. I'm not disturbing you, am I?
While Mold Man, as he's called in the script, while he's talking, Harry just sits down despondently and looks at a pair of tickets to a concert, and he says, "Fuck." And he says, "Shit. Those tickets will come back later. I can promise you that." But then we're introduced to Harry's ex-girlfriend, Raquel, because he stalks her at her job, and where she's introducing like some clientele to some paintings she's trying to sell from her gallery, I guess. And Harry is just standing outside like 3 feet away from her, just staring at her through the glass while she's trying to work.
And then she, like, notices him, and, like, the fucking expressions on both of their faces that they give each other are, like...
She fully stops what she's saying to turn her head, like, 180 degrees to look at Harry and just avoid the people in the room.
The expressions are, like, you look at them and you say, what emotion was this person trying to convey?
What were they told to do here?
They look like one of them farted, but they're wondering if they should acknowledge it or not. But it's supposed to show you that they're attracted to each other.
And it lasts like a full 10 seconds of eye contact, just silence, before she turns back.
It's so fucking funny.
And then we are introduced to the iPads, which are a very important element of the movie, because there's like a meeting at the police depot if you're uncool, but everyone here in this movie says depot. This woman is introducing everyone to this new piece of technology that's being given out to the force. And it's basically just an iPad, but shittier. It's just bigger, bulkier, less convenient. It has like a weird thumbprint scanner.
What your phone or iPad also has.
Effectively, this piece of technology is completely useless.
But it uploads video to the cloud every 24 hours, so...
Yes, so they've started telling their police to just start recording everything like manually instead of like giving them a body cam or just having them use something more convenient. They have to carry around what is the same size and convenience of a laptop, but also a shitty futuristic tablet.
The woman giving this briefing to the police officer sounds like a text-to-speech program.
The EviSync will automatically upload all the new data to the central police server here every 12 hours. We've also done some work on the fingerprint scanning software, so you will notice a significantly faster opening time after scanning your fingerprint. But please make sure that your fingerprint scans are done cleanly and clearly from the start. If you are experiencing a high number of false scans, this is probably because your fingerprints were scanned incorrectly from the start.
This is the device that like carries every single like development in the plot, is dependent on these weird fucking iPads that look like those radio TVs from the 80s.
We couldn't determine when this movie took place. Like, there were elements that made it feel like it was set like a little bit in the past, but also elements that are like, is this supposed to be in the near future?
I believe it's set in the like mid 2000s, and the book does not have the iPads. It's not an element.
It's not an element?
No.
The movie has minor things like specifically with technology that make you think it's like, 10 years in the future or something.
Yeah, like people will have like LED brooches at parties and like just with dumb shit, and like these weird iPads that feel like future tech from a movie was actually made in 1998. And it was like, oh, a tablet that's like a computer. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's retrofuturism. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Then you're also introduced to Harry's partner, I guess. I don't know what the hell you would call him.
Magnus?
Yeah, Magnus, who's just... It's more important in the next scene, but he just kind of looks over at Harry and nods in this scene.
That's about what his role is in the whole film.
Harry just ignores the meeting, and then it cuts to just a little bit later. He's in the lunch hall, eating lunch, and he got mail, but we're introduced to Gunnar Hagen, the police chief, and in the scene, it opens with a shot of Magnus at another table talking to other people and laughing, implying that there was originally a scene where you heard what they were saying, because it's like there was a big like shot that moves from that to Harry in the background, like showing he's distant from other people, and there was clearly a scene there that is completely gone.
And Harry also gets up and moves the other chair from his table so no one can sit next to him. So that also implies that maybe something happened before that. It's so strange.
Yeah, and Gunnar Hagen gives him his mail, and this is where you're introduced to the poster in the prop form, because he gets handed the letter from the killer, and it's a message that says... While you were fucking around being an alcoholic, I built mommy a snowman. And this is what kicks off the mystery. But the most important part of this note is that it looks nothing like the poster. It's completely different.
The handwriting looks very similar, but the actual doodle of the snowman looks nothing like the poster at all.
Like, just why? Like, why did they make it like a different one for the poster?
Well, I like to think that they just told an intern to make that poster in like a day, so then he just fucking doodled that shit in Photoshop.
Oh yeah, you did use the basic Photoshop brush tool and recreate it yourself.
Yeah, I recreated it.
It looks exactly the same. It like you didn't even have to touch the settings on any of the tools. It was all just default ready to fucking go. There's a scene where Harry returns the apartment keys to his ex-girlfriend, which means that they only recently are setting that boundary. She has a new boyfriend that's moved in, and Harry is a close, like, father figure to Raquel's son.
Oleg.
Oleg misses you. He doesn't get along very well with Matthias.
What about you?
I'm not going to answer that. He wants to meet his real father. I don't think he's ready for that.
There's a really weird contrast, or not like conflict, I guess, between like the way Harry's depicted with fucking Oleg, because he's a deadbeat, never remembers anything dad, but also he's not his real dad, and it's like he actually has no responsibility to do anything with him.
They're not even dating anymore, so he's like home free.
Yeah, it's the kid of some lady he, dated for a couple years or something. It's like, it's not his responsibility, but the fact that he puts in any effort is like, oh, okay, he's really trying to do something.
Well, I have to imagine that there's like some context from the first 6 books, but they're not in this movie.
After that, it cuts to Harry going to a bar.
It's just a shot of him looking at a bar, and then there's this awkward cut that's like masked in as it like goes around the corner of a building, and then it just transitions like that into a shot of him passed out on the street.
And people like kick him or like trip over him. I don't know what the extras were told to do to his body.
Presumably that same night, as Harry was getting blackout drunk, a murder happens. We follow a woman named Birta Becca. She's driving home at night, and she gets a text message. So to respond to it, she pulls over onto the shoulder of the road where it's not even like a full shoulder. She's like covering the fucking lane up.
A car pulls up behind her and then sits behind her for a second, and then she looks at it like, huh, what a asshole, and then turns her hazards on, and it's like, you're in the road.
Yeah, you're lucky that person who's driving even fucking noticed you were there, and she gets pissy and texts her daughter back, and it's like, I will be home in a few minutes. And it's like, why did you take the time to do that? Was that absolutely necessary? I think your daughter could wait 3 minutes for you to get home.
No, I have to block an entire lane of the road and send this text.
And so she pulls up to her house, and she walks up to the front door, and of course the whole entire front of the house is fucking glass. Like every building in this movie is just glass. And she looks in the window at her daughter, who's like coloring, and she's like, wow, what's this? And she points at something on the lawn, and the daughter's like, what are you talking about? And then the mom says, she points to her phone and says, I'll send a photo to you. It's like, what the fuck? What? Why are you doing, what, do you know how phones work? What the fuck? Like, why? You can't just like walk inside and be like,
hey, come look at this
snowman.
Yeah. So she sends her a picture of the snowman, but before the kid is able to respond, some figure walks in from downstairs, and the ramp up in the music and how it's cut is like leading you to believe that it's like a bad person or like the murderer or something. But then it just turns out to be her dad, who's like pissed off because he had to leave for like a business trip, and his wife said she was going to be home way earlier.
I told you I had to leave by 8.
And I told you that I had to help one of my students.
It's just like a 30-second red herring for nothing. And then they go to bed, and, there's plenty of windows in everyone's fucking rooms. And we see them go to bed. Birta goes to bed next to the room with the child. And then, the next morning, the little girl wakes up, stands on her bed to look through her bedroom window. It's her parents' bedroom, a normal thing that all of us have, to see that she's not there. But now we're back to the office, back to the police depot, and Harry is drunkenly asleep on the fucking couch in the middle of the police depot, and it's like this weird building where every room is just walled in with glass, and there's just like people across the hall playing ping pong. And there's so much visual information at all times because everything is slightly in focus through like 3 layers of glass. And Harry gets up and grabs his head and walks over to the smoking deck, where he meets his new partner, Katrine Bratt, who is played by
Rebecca Ferguson.
Rebecca Ferguson.
The character of Katrine, played by Rebecca Ferguson, is
who is the femme fatale of the story. Well, if she was written well at all, she could have been, like, it was the idea, it seems.
If there was a story, she'd be it, yeah.
In the book, she's, like, trying to get with him. She's, like, horny for some hole. There's also some other character things that are different between this and the book, but he goes out on the porch, they talk for a little bit.
It's the smoking room.
Yeah, but it's the only place I can concentrate, so I'm Katrina Bratt.
Harry Hole.
In a baffling moment of imagery or failure to have it, he looks up and someone is smoking, so the ash drifts through the grate that they're standing on down, and then his eye follows that ash, and then his eyes land on the bag that Katrine has. Which, I'm describing it so it sounds like, you're just picturing that happening, but the way it cuts, there's no connection between the bag and the ash that's falling. It makes no sense.
It doesn't convey what you just said, like how you described it at all, even though that's what it was trying to do.
But these are the very important files that we'll find out about later.
Yeah, it's like actually important that he notices she has like some weird disconnected files on her that she like shouldn't have.
But it doesn't read it all. You don't like get that information.
It took like 3 watches for us to like look at that and go like, oh, that's trying to convey that? It's not just nothing?
We're still watching it to find new things that were meant and we never understood.
This movie is the gift that keeps on giving, because every time you watch it, you find something new that's wrong with it. And it's amazing.
We've watched it 20 plus times, literally. Like, we've seen this movie so many fucking times and it still, like, baffles us. Every time.
You still find shit that you didn't notice before where you're like, wait, what? But, anyway, so basically Katrine's just like...
I know who you are. We actually studied your cases at the academy.
I didn't know they date back that far.
Yeah, you're up there with the legends. So.
They immediately join up and they're called in to check out the scene of Birte Becker's disappearance. Katrine is interrogating like someone, like the neighbor or something, with her iPad, and Harry looks at the files that Katrine has and reads the files, but somehow has an in-depth flashback to something he never experienced. Or he sees a character named Gert Rafto, as portrayed by Val Kilmer,
and somebody else,
interrogate a guy named Friedrich Assen or something. And it's just a small scene of him talking to him, but immediately striking to you is Val Kilmer's voice. Because it's not Val Kilmer's voice at all.
Yeah, it not only doesn't sound anything like Val Kilmer, it also doesn't line up with his fucking mouth movements. So she's just super poorly ADR'd. As we found out later, it's because he was battling throat cancer.
Val, you didn't need to do it.
No, not for this movie.
I bet he was like, oh, I want to work with Marty. Imagine thinking you're going to work with Martin Scorsese on a project, and then it turns out to be this.
Yeah.
But Rafto asks about the wife of Friedrich who's missing or presumed dead, and he's like asking if the wife had cheated. Was she seeing anyone?
Well, was your wife seeing anyone?
And he gets very upset at that notion. And then we cut back to Harry, who's just in the car again. And then Harry walks down the stairs and sneaks past them to go investigate the little girl who is just sitting on a couch in the basement doing nothing. Harry, being the saint he is, feels like he needs to play more to her level, be a little bit entertaining, like a cool uncle.
He's got to connect with this kid and, like, really, like, get to her so he can get the right answers so he can solve her mother's disappearance.
The result is another just classic scene in the movie where Harry starts creeping up on her. He notices that she's wearing a scary donkey mask, not like a cute children's donkey mask, like a
your next kind of mask.
Yeah, it's a your next mask. And so Harry creeps up on her and starts making like these realistic, like guttural donkey noises.
Hello, Mr. Donkey.
He doesn't do like what you would do with a kid. They like fill you with horror. They're fucking disturbing. I hope those are Michael Fassbender's actual donkey noises in the film.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
I'd be disappointed if not.
Oh, it's the way it's like cut too. It's like a horror scene.
It's cut into the trailer, and it's as cut in it as a horror scene.
Yeah. Because clearly whoever cut the trailer looked at that and went, oh, that's fucking creepy.
But this is like the one moment where it's supposed to be showing that Harry's like a crack detective who like can get information he needs out of anyone, because he like gives her leading questions to get to know that her father had been cheated on by her mother.
Have you ever seen her cry?
No. But I saw Daddy cry.
When?
A few nights ago. He saw me too.
What did he do?
Locked himself in the bathroom.
Where was Mummy when he was crying?
She'd gone out.
But instead of coming off as a crack detective, he comes off as a sociopath.
He's like, yeah, and as soon as he finishes that conversation, he's just like, bye, see ya, with this, like, really creepy little wave where he waggles his fingers.
Well, not before they're interrupted by Katrine, who, like, wanders down the stairs to, like, it's like she's spying on them, but, like, why do you need to hide your presence from them? And then her phone goes off.
Like, what was she trying to do? It feels like she was, like, getting horny off of watching Harry be fatherly in, like, a gross way.
So immediately contrasting his crack detective work with the little girl, he gets in the car with Katrine, who's like, I think the killer goes after unvirtuous women who he doesn't like cheaters and such. And Harry's like, yeah, sure. I don't fucking know.
Katrine's like, you're not going to try to sleep with me, are you, Harry? And he just looks at her and he's like, no.
Okay, good. He didn't do anything to cause her to think that.
Yeah, Harry gets back to his house and he looks at the cold case files, which spurs the second flashback, where we follow Gert Rafto as he drunkenly makes his way up a ski lift to investigate a body that some children on a school trip have stumbled across. You're getting all of the information over radio of people talking who we don't see. We don't know who they are.
411 to dispatch. Dispatch, do you receive?
Go ahead, 411.
Up in Mount Ulriken. It looks like a homicide. Adult female. It's hard to see from here, but there's a lot of blood. A group of school children found her.
Rafto grabs the walkie-talkie just from, like, a building or something and just puts it on himself. He didn't come with it, and he turns it on. And presumably 2 police officers, we have no idea exactly who, start talking.
I've got a problem. Rafto just showed up. What the hell's he doing there? He's been suspended. They tried telling him that.
We sent the kids down with their teacher. Make sure there's a care officer to meet them and someone to deal with the parents.
Rafto is now walking up to Svensson, and Svensson is at the top of the mountain, and he's played by Toby Jones. And as Rafto awkwardly walks up to him, and then the guards call them the drunk and the half-wit, and they both just awkwardly look at each other.
Who's in charge?
Svensson. Jesus. It gets worse. Rafto just arrived.
Perfect. The drunk and the half-wit.
So then Rafto goes and he walks onto like a overhang and sees below him that there's a flock of seagulls swarmed around something. And so he takes out his pistol and fires a shot into the air, and all the seagulls disperse, revealing what is a dismembered body.
But then this cuts to a scene that is immediately the same exact scene as when they were in the car. It's like the same fucking thing. Harry's at a restaurant and Katrine walks in and the fucking host says, "I'm sorry, we're closing," in the middle of the day, presumably around like when dinner's about to start. And Harry says no, and then waves her in against the wishes of the employee. And she sits down and she's like,
The 12th of November, 6 years ago, she went missing. And the day she vanished, it was snowing. Helge Dahl disappeared the 8th of November. The day she went missing, it was snowing.
Not unusual, it's winter.
Now Berta Becker. The night she disappeared.
Snowy.
Yeah. I think it's the falling snow that sets the killer off.
And Harry once again is like, nah, you're fucking stupid.
9 times out of 10, my husband did it.
He was interviewed, and his alibi is solid. He was 100 miles away.
He also cuts up his food into little chunks to make like a visual connection to the killer having chopped up that woman. And I don't know what that's supposed to imply.
Yeah, he's like trying to intimidate her, but over what?
Because it focuses on the sausage that he's cut up into little pieces. And I guess it's supposed to be a red herring where it's like, oh shit, is Harry the killer? But it just means nothing and is weird. Like most of the scenes in the fucking movie.
Oh, there's a weird random scene where a woman drops her daughter, presumably off at some guy's house, some guy we haven't seen before, and the girl just walks up and is uncomfortable and is led into the house, and that's the whole scene. But the next scene is the hockey game that Oleg is having, and it starts with Harry walking in, going up to his to Raquel, and like starting to like snuggle with her immediately, like intimately, like as you would in a dedicated relationship in front of everyone at the hockey game. Oleg and God himself are all watching as they snuggle like fucking teenagers at this hockey game.
It does feel like he's going to give her his varsity jersey.
And they're interrupted by Matthias, who is
current boyfriend of Raquel.
And he's just like, and they're both like, oh.
Yeah, they just stop what they're doing immediately. And then Matthias puts his arm around Raquel.
It's so uncomfortable. And then Raquel is like, I'm going to get you some food. And we have the glorious line,
hot dog or hot dog?
Well, hot dog then.
So Matthias and Harry have a brief conversation where Harry tells him that he's been having trouble sleeping. And Matthias is like, oh, bro, I got you. I got some new sleep medication. It's gonna do the trick, man. And I can give you a prescription right here, right now, on my phone.
And Harry's baffled that you could do something on your phone.
I can give you a prescription right now. Really? Yeah, with that. Yeah.
And then immediately after the game, I guess it's just a big day for Oleg. This sounds fucking exhausting. They're going to a fucking concert, and they get out to the outside of the building, and for the first time, I guess, Oleg is like, so what's this concert?
And then Harry's like, I don't know. Someone at work got me the tickets. It's like, okay.
So, what's the big surprise?
Let's find out. Someone at work got me the tickets.
There's a bald fat man, like, screaming and dancing, like, spinning, like, doing, like, crazy shit while people are just playing, like, generic, like, jazz funk riffs. They're so incongruous between what the frontman is doing and the band is playing. Harry gets a call, and Harry's like, I gotta go take the call, and Oleg's like, no, let's just leave.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. So Harry takes the call, and it's Katrine being like, hey, I got a lead on this fucking case, you gotta come help out.
Harry takes Oleg home. He's promised to take Oleg on a father-son camping trip for school, I guess. And so Harry and Katrine then hop in the vehicle and they haul ass out into the country to find out what the hell's going on. And they pull up to this farm and they walk into the building and the song Popcorn is playing on a stereo.
Hello?
Hello?
And they're like, what's going on? This house is empty. And they go out to the slaughterhouse where there's a woman cutting off a chicken's head. And she's like, I didn't fucking call you.
Can I help you?
Yeah, well, we're with the Oslo police. We got the missing persons call.
Oh, who's missing?
It was Sylvia Otterson.
I'm Sylvia Otterson.
What, you're Sylvia Otterson? Why would your husband report you missing?
I have no idea. He's not the kind to play practical jokes.
As soon as they fucking leave, then the woman at the farm gets killed anyway. She just gets fucking axed, and the killer then pulls out this weird device that, like, looks like a gun handle, and then there's a string that loops through, and he uses it to sever her head.
But then they roll up back to the farm, and they're greeted by the same woman, and they're like, oh, like, we just got a call, are you okay? And then she's like, oh no, I'm her sister. We're twins.
A red herring again over nothing.
Oh, for 10 seconds to make you go, oh, is that the woman? But wait, I just saw her get killed. Oh, wait, they're fucking twins. It's like
a whole twin character. Just so for 1 second, maybe, you'll be confused.
They find the headless body of the woman in the chicken coop where she was. And then they set out on tractors like throughout the entire property, I guess. And they end up at a cistern on the outskirts. And Harry climbs up inside, and he's walking around on the grates, and he shines his flashlight down into the pit of the cistern. And the woman's head is on one ball of snow, as we've established that the killer only builds 2-ball snowmans, thus making him an insane person who cannot be trusted.
Immediately after he finds it, it cuts to like all of the cavalry, like all the police officers rushing in, and the coroner's team like rappels down with ropes. So it's like, how the fuck did the killer get down there and back out again?
Yeah, how did he like bring his woman's head down there, form the snowman, put it back on, and then fucking bail? And the time it took for them to come back, and the way the movie's cut, they leave. She calls her real boyfriend on the phone, is like, stop pranking me with these fake police calls, and then they turn around and come back.
Well, conveniently in that call to the police as well, she's like, it was my choice to have the abortion. It wasn't your child. Out of nowhere. It's like, oh, okay. I guess that's important. So then we see that Oslo is in a bid for the nondescript, not trademarked Winter Games that are happening in some following years.
Look, it's not the Olympics.
Not in any way the Olympics. Some nondescript sporting event is going to happen in Oslo at some point, if they win the bid, who is being led by Arve Stope, who is also trying to become the mayor of Oslo, who is played by J.K. Simmons, who inexplicably is doing a British accent. One of the worst I've ever heard.
And I've seen J.K. Simmons in like 50 movies and TV shows and commercials and all sorts of stuff. He is never bad, except for this film.
Yeah, he's bad, as is every single other person in the cast.
We see the bald man who took in the random woman in that random scene earlier. He's standing in that room with the woman, and J.K. Simmons, as Arve Stope, walks into the room as he's been called there. And Katrine is watching from afar, recording on her iPad.
The bald man says, hey, look at this. And then he pulls down the woman's shirt, revealing a single nipple. And then Arve Stope pulls out his phone, takes a picture with the flash on, and then just says,
idiot.
Hey everyone, pay no attention to this human trafficking victim I have as my +1. You did get my +1. You got my RSVP, right?
Yeah, on the website it made me like take a picture of her and upload it with her in for contact.
I hope you didn't mind that she had only one nipple out.
It's such an awkward amount of nudity, too.
It's like barely in frame. It's like only a few like pixels of nipple. I've never seen anything like it.
It is the least sexual nudity of all time. And like, yeah, it's supposed to be like a disturbing scene, I think, to some degree, but it just comes off as like funny.
Yeah, because it's not that either, so it's just incredibly incompetent. The next scene is, so after we see an insight into the human trafficking world of Oslo being led by abortion doctors, we see Harry go back to his apartment, and who is there but the mold man himself, And on the speaker is playing Popcorn, which you may recognize as being played at the victim's house earlier. And Harry walks in, and he just immediately becomes furious at the Mold Man for enjoying himself.
Mold Man's dancing to the song, and then Harry, runs in, grabs a chair, and then lobs it at him and just screams, "Get out!"
Hey! Hey! Get out. Get out!
But you also see, the hands of the Mold Man, switching out, the prescription that Harry got, and you can't tell what he did or anything, and then Harry takes the pills and goes to sleep, and it's what the fuck was that? But the Mold Man storms out of the building, and he walks past none other than
the real Mold Man.
Mold Man? Who is in casual clothing, just leaning on the door of a tattoo parlor.
And then he's like, "Oi, mate, what the fuck? Why are you wearing my suit?"
This leads to a lot of questions. Why is that guy there at, midnight, just standing on the fucking street with his dog? Two, his shit was just stolen, or, he just saw some guy living in his suit from the place that he fumigates. Shouldn't he have reported that to anyone? Said, "Hey, man, I think some guy just walked out of your house wearing my clothes."
Well, maybe he was just trying to flag him down to tell him what good taste he has in attire. I have the same hazmat suit, dude. That's awesome.
Where'd you get yours?
Dude, I work at the same building.
Are we best friends? Are we best friends now? Because I think we're best friends now.
Once again, it's a whole sequence based on a loose red herring. It's just okay, alright. And it resolves itself within the same scene. So you don't actually question if he was involved, because it tells you he's not 5 seconds later.
And this leads to a scene where Harry and Katrine go to investigate the abortion doctor who, was visited by the woman who died earlier in the movie. Berta Becker had an appointment with her, and they found that out by interviewing her husband, so they go to check it out. And Katrine's especially interested because only she knows, but this is the same man that was parading around his sex trafficking victims at the party. And as they walk up, the girl who's being trafficked looks through the window, and Katrine sees her. So they go in and they start questioning Idar Vetlesen, the abortion doctor. And, they're just asking some general questions, and then Katrine starts going hard and making him uncomfortable. And he's like, "Is there anyone else in the house?"
Harry clearly thought this moron, which he is, was just gonna drop whatever information he needed if he just talked to him long enough. But Katrine starts yelling threats at him and going "Who's in the house? What's going on?" and ruins the whole thing instantly.
Do you live alone?
Well, yes, I am a reluctant bachelor.
Is there anyone in the house right now? Because I thought I saw someone in the window when I passed.
But, well, if you want to take a look around, I will need to see a search warrant. In fact, if you don't mind, I would like to call my lawyer before I answer any more of your questions.
And then they get back out to the car, and Harry's like, "What the fuck was that?"
What was that?
What?
He isn't a suspect yet. We need his permission to search the house.
I know that.
Why'd you ask him about Harvey Stowe?
I saw a picture of them both together.
And
it was an innocent question. Jesus, anyone can see he's trying to hide something, right?
Your intuition's way off. Is it your time of the month? Harry's such a fucking gallivanting, raging sexist.
Is your biological clock ticking?
This is not a job for a broad, I'm sorry. But then he takes her iPad. I guess maybe he's just playing dumb, because then he takes her iPad to Edda, the presenter, the keeper of the iPads,
the text-to-speech woman.
He gets into her iPad thing and sees the videos that she hasn't told him about, because they uploaded to the cloud, as was established by the text-to-speech woman.
The EviSync will automatically upload all the new data to the central police server here every 12 hours.
He sees, like, the clip of Vetlison touching the woman and some other stuff, and he's like, oh, damn, she knows more than she lets on. So this little cat and mouse game continues between the two. And he also finds out that Katrine is the daughter of Gert Rafto, so she has skin in the game, which is a no-no.
Yeah, and that's why she had those files earlier, and why she's been acting like a psycho at people for no reason, and has like weird information she shouldn't have, and has been tracking things. And I just want to note this, because Harry has literally been doing nothing. He lets her do everything she's gonna do. He's barely actually investigating these murders.
He just fucks around and hangs out with his ex-girlfriend and her son. Like, that's all he fucking does with his time.
Except for when he doesn't, because in the next scene, when he's on the train to Bergen...
Yeah, he's prompted to go to Bergen to investigate Rafto further after he finds out it's Katrine's father.
Yes, and he bumps into Matthias, who's like, hey, weren't you supposed to go on that father-son camping trip thing with Oleg?
So you cancelled the Oleg thing? The school trip? Weren't you supposed to...
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, Harry. I'm sure he's fine.
And he's like, us weird fake dads of late teenage boys gotta stick together.
Look, you're not his father, Harry.
What does that mean?
Well,
I don't have to be his father to care about him.
It's trying to say that it's a big enough responsibility for a real father, isn't it? Let alone you and me.
And the scene also introduces that Matthias is a plastic surgeon who's up to date on medical devices. I'll explain why that's important later. Harry gets off in Bergen, and he goes to interview Asan, who's just a lowly factory worker. And so after he gets what he can out of Friedrich Asen, he goes over to meet with Toby Jones at the police station in Bergen. And Harry is shown photos of the crime scene around Rafto's death. Svensson, who works at the police depot there, starts talking about Rafto and his degeneracy, and we go to my favorite flashback in the movie, where Rafto just gets extremely drunk and goes to the office, and he's trying to do his investigation. There's a party for Svensson's birthday going on in the office, and it pisses him off. And so he climbs out onto the ledge outside of the window and starts spraying his water bottle filled with vodka at the window, mimicking pissing on everyone.
Happy birthday to Svensson. Happy birthday to you.
Idiot. Fucking competent sons of...
Oi, Rafto. Rafto.
Get back. Get back in. Get back in.
You're ruining my birthday.
He was a suicidal maniac, Svensson says.
He was a suicidal maniac.
So when Harry looks at the photo of Rafto's body, he starts questioning things because it's supposed to look like a suicide, but Harry notices some water on the ground and some coffee beans, and he's like, what are those?
What's this? On the floor. They look like coffee beans.
Maybe he's trying to sober up after all.
You didn't check.
The cabin was locked from the inside. And he looked like that when they found him. There wasn't anything to check.
But so Harry goes to investigate the cabin at which he allegedly shot himself. Harry walks in, and then we see a flashback to the actual death where Rafto gets his head blown off, and then a snowman is put on his head. So that's where the water and the coffee beans came from.
Yeah, so it melted and then left behind only the coffee beans.
I just want to note that it abruptly cuts to the head exploding, and Dylan in the movie theater was walking out to go piss, And right when he hit the bottom of the stairs, that happened. And he just looked back up at us at the top and yelled, "What the fuck?"
It came out of nowhere. I was like, this is a safe time to go to the bathroom. Like, I don't understand what's going on at this moment. Because all these details we're saying, like, we've only been able to piece together after at least 10 watches. Like, the first time we saw it, we had no idea what was fucking happening.
The first time you watch this movie, you are lost. You are hopelessly lost. Only us, who are experts on the Snowman, can relay this information to you. Because God knows you're not going to watch it 10 times.
To warn you, audience, many people who watch this film respond to it not with our appreciation, but with, like, almost violent anger.
You either go, oh yeah, I get it, it is kind of funny and, like, jank. Or you go, fuck you, why did you make me watch this?
It's a difficult life to lead being a snowman expert. So Harry figures that out somehow just from being in the cabin. And then it turns out when Harry arrives back in Oslo, the body of Vetlesen has been found, presumably killed himself. Interesting. And they also found the bodies of the 2 missing women. Curious.
And Harry looks at it with normal human eyes and goes, how the fuck did he shoot himself?
He shot himself straight on. How do you do that with a shotgun? It's too long, you'd have to angle it. Pellet mark should be up there somewhere.
Luckily, we have experts to determine that.
A child could look at that. A fucking child could look at that and go, like, how the fuck did he do that? Like, how in the hell did that man hold a gun directly, evenly at the front of his head himself? That's, like, longer than his arms.
And then he also finds out that Katrine has suddenly vanished. Could she be the killer? Could she be? Could it be another red herring, though? Probably.
Well, the abortion doctor is the killer. We just found out. The bodies were in his...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this should have just ended after that scene. Then Harry breaks into Katrine's apartment because I guess no one looked there. I guess no one looked in Katrine's apartment for her. And in the worst cut action of all time, he gets sneak attacked by Katrine, who is waiting for him in the shadows.
She, like, kicks his knee out.
Like kung fu moves, and there's this tracking shot where they didn't even try to keep the camera steady, and it's just like rumbling with micro tremors. It looks like a student film.
For her to fucking Bruce Lee beat the shit out of him, and him just go no and throw her on the ground.
Yeah, he, like, grabs her and then, like, winds up and, like, throws her on the ground with, like, immaculate force.
Yeah, he, like, rock bottoms her and then holds her down.
Get up!
I guess congratulations are in order.
It's just this uncomfortably long scene of him pinning her to the ground with full body contact. Like, every inch of his body is touching hers until she finally screams to get off of her.
Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me, you fucking drunk! Get off!
Yeah. I'm a drunk. Like your father.
And he turns down a drink she gives him. And now he's finally done it. He's no longer an alcoholic.
Recovering from alcoholism and stuff is like a lifelong, thing that you always deal with and like a process.
No, he's just done. He's done, Aaron.
He decided in that moment that he's done. He's good. He's fine now.
A lot of media will simplify it to like, oh, I locked myself downstairs for 2 days and didn't drink alcohol. Now I'm past the problems. But he doesn't. He just goes, nah, I don't need this shit anymore, man. And he moves on, despite being like a blackout every day, multiple times a day alcoholic.
Now he can dedicate his time to chain smoking more.
That's true. There's less bottle in the mouth, more ciggy. Just gotta have it. But he leaves, and then also Katrine leaves, and she walks a corner past a 3-tiered snowman. Or is it? Because as she walks by, the camera slowly tilts down, and we see that behind the snowman's regular face is a face on its second tier, and that's the kind of snowman the killer makes.
Yeah, a derp face.
He was wearing a hat of a human head over his actual head.
What a devious trick.
But it's like, who is that for? Why did he make it there in that, like, random public location?
We laughed so hard in the theater at that. That's like the one thing I explicitly remember.
Oh yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, because he always makes them when he's going to murder someone. It's always like a right before he does it thing, or sometimes after, but it's like right connected to it. But he fucking puts that one there for no reason and positions it as a fake regular snowman to trick only the audience. There's no other explanation for who that was for.
Then there's a scene where Raquel goes to Harry's, and it's very insignificant, but she starts like dry humping Harry, and they make out, and in the middle of it, Matthias calls, and then she finds out that Harry's pills were prescribed by Matthias, which makes her inexplicably furious.
You couldn't have asked another doctor.
She gets so mad that her boyfriend gave her ex-boyfriend medication that he needed. She treats it like it's a betrayal by both of them, but she's trying to, like, fuck Harry. It's like everyone in this movie comes off like a terrible person.
Katrine rocks back up to possibly the same lounge as before, the same lodge, and it's the night of the big decision for the games, the nondescript sport game of wintertime. She talks to J.K. Simmons and like talks him up a little bit, like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your work."
Mr. Stowe, I'm sorry. I just want to thank you. I really liked your speech. I found it very, very moving. Well, you see, I was an orphan myself, so...
Well, it doesn't have to be a disadvantage, young lady. It can motivate us, too.
He silently takes out his phone and snaps a photo with flash of her face in the middle of a crowd.
He always keeps that flash on.
And then walks away, and 10 feet away from her, he talks to his guard, who then walks 10 feet back to hand her the key to his room at the lodge.
Mr. Stope wanted me to let you know how much he enjoyed your conversation. It's room 472. He'll be free after the announcement if there's anything else you'd like to ask him.
Thank you.
Katrine goes up into the hotel room and sets up the iPad. She's going to incriminate this guy for having sex, I guess. I mean, she's potentially thinking she's going to try to murder her.
She sets up the iPad in the most indiscreet location possible.
Just on a shelf next to, like, flowers and stuff. It's...
Oh, yeah, that doesn't look like a fucking recording device at all.
She might as well go and, like, rip his books out of the bookshelf and throw them on the floor and just cram it in there.
But then all of a sudden she gets caught off guard by the killer, who has leather gloves on and throws her on the bed and chokes her out and then starts removing pieces of her body. But then it cuts to the party, and Arve Stope starts making his way to the bedroom, because as soon as the announcement is made that Oslo is going to host the games, Arve Stope does not say hello to anyone. He does not, like, cheer for a moment. He runs.
He fucking makes a beeline for his room.
He runs to go fuck. As if not every single person in that room would be looking to him in that moment. He runs to go get laid.
Every reporter in the entire country is going to be trying to talk to his ass about the Olympics or whatever. And yeah, he's just booking his ass upstairs. He's already half chubbed. He's ready to go.
But he gets there and her body is gone. Interesting.
He's like, God damn it.
And there would be some mystery left to that, but the next scene is Harry drinking coffee in his apartment, and he looks down and he sees that there's a snowman that's been imprinted onto his car, the roof of his car, I guess not his car. He doesn't have a car. He's an alcoholic, which is a point we haven't brought up.
Yeah, wait, whose car is that?
I guess it's Katrine's car.
How did he get her body out of there? It's a public venue.
Yeah, there were a shitload of people there.
And he didn't even cut her into pieces.
No, she's fully intact.
He cut her finger off.
To get into her iPad and delete the files. But yeah, she's just like hanging over the steering wheel. But the most important thing about this is that Katrine does not die in the book. She is a character that lives on to be in the books afterward.
She's the one who has the big arc. Harry's just following along. They have like that Max Rockatansky Furiosa thing where she has like the personal connection and he's just kind of like just wants the thing off his face. Her death means that there's no like personal thing with what's going on anymore. And she's just dead. And also, how the fuck did he put that snowman imprint on top of the car? Did he get like a step ladder?
But like you said, now there's nothing personal tying it, and the actual person doing all of the investigative work is now dead. But conveniently enough, this is the point of the story where nobody has to investigate anything, because Harry gets personally dragged into the murder case himself by sheer coincidence. He would have been so fucked otherwise if Katrine died. This murder would have never been solved. He goes through the files on Katrine's laptop thing, and he notices some line that plays comedically like 50 times as he's replaying it.
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Sir, I'm just trying to find your wife. Please help me.
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Sir, I'm just trying to find your wife. Please help me. How the
hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Sir, I'm trying to find your wife.
How the hell am I supposed to remember what day we saw him?
Sir, I'm trying to find your wife.
What day we saw him?
Sir,
what day we saw him?
Sir.
It's like to get the point across that that's the thing that he's like interested in. He goes to interview Birte Becker's husband, and he's just like, yeah, the daughter's not mine.
She isn't mine. Birte and I were trying for another child. We thought it might save our marriage. We had blood tests done in the clinic for hormone treatment. And it came out that she wasn't mine. I am infertile. I've always been infertile.
It's not my child. And then I guess Harry figures out, kind of, but not really, that the killer goes after extramarital children? Havers?
No, but he also finds out that she saw like a specialist in gene therapy.
But you didn't see Vetlison the day you found out.
No, we saw some hormone specialist, visiting consultant.
Do you know his name?
His wife's new boyfriend is an expert gene therapy because he told him earlier.
I'm attending a 3-day conference on bioidentical hormone restoration.
I thought you were a plastic surgeon.
Well, no. Cosmetic surgery needs to move with the times too. We're swapping the scalpel for hormone replacement therapy. If you can slow down the aging process, there won't be any need for facelifts, will there?
I'll bear that in mind.
He's told every piece of information he would need in that conversation that, like even a child would make these connections. And he doesn't have to figure it out himself because it's just given to him on a silver platter by another character.
And at the same time, Matthias goes full mask off and then just fucking kidnaps Raquel and Oleg.
Oh yeah, he didn't even need to find out because he kidnaps her anyway for no reason, so he would have found out then.
All Harry has to do is go to the police office, steal Magnus's car without it, like taking it without his permission.
Interestingly, all of the minor police characters are helpful in this sequence in terms of helping him find his wife, but they're not characters. They all clearly didn't have their shit filmed or were edited out, depending. So it's supposed to be like the whole crew is coming in to help Harry at the end here, but they all have like one line.
Magnus, who's supposed to be semi-important in the grand scheme of the movie, has like 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, and half of them are just singing a song, a Norwegian song in the office for fun. And so Harry gets led directly to the childhood home from the beginning of the movie. Because that's right, that kid from the beginning was the Snowman Killer, Matthias. He was an illegitimate child by his mother and Uncle Jonas, who may or may not be his actual uncle. Kind of unclear. I think the book explicitly says it, but the movie doesn't really commit to that idea.
I believe the book does go for straight incest, because I think that's why he doesn't have nipples or something.
Oh yeah, in the book he doesn't have nipples. In the book he doesn't have nipples, and that's like one of the clues. That's one of the many things that is not in the fucking movie. And it's like, why would you not put that in? That's like the weirdest fucking like visual gag. He's like Rutger Hauer at the end of fucking Blade Runner, and he's just shirtless and like losing his mind, and it just pans down to his nipples, his lack of thereof, rather. Everything's over. The movie's over. Like, the mystery is over. It's just, like, he's holding these guys hostage, and this is the climax, but it's like, nothing feels earned, and this whole entire climactic scene is just a wet noodle. It's so shitty.
Harry's got to handle this situation by himself.
The said situation is that Matthias has the weird, like, thing for cutting off body parts tool that he's been killing people with, and he has it around Raquel's neck. But it comes down to a showdown where he's threatening to kill Raquel and interrogating Harry, but the questions just feel like it's like an extreme therapy session.
What about you, Harry? You have a woman who loves you. A boy who's devoted to you. Why did you abandon them?
They deserve better.
Too easy.
Because I'm selfish.
I'm an addict.
And then, like, if Harry gives an answer that Matthias is not happy with, he'll tighten the device around her neck, and then when he finally does say what he wants him to say, he, like, loosens it.
And that weapon in the book is, like, explicitly stated that at one of, like, the conferences that he goes to, he finds that at, like, a medical convention, and that ties, like, that's part of the hint, is that, like, it's something that only he would have, and that's not in the movie. But then Oleg distracts Matthias, and Harry loses his finger while trying to prevent the thing from cutting off Raquel's head.
Lots of fingers being cut off in this movie.
Dude, the editing of that is so fucking bad. It goes to, like, grab, and then it just, like, cuts weird, and then his hand's in it between it and her neck, even though there's, like, not enough space for that already. And then it just cuts through his finger, but it cuts away as it's happening instantly. And you as a viewer have no idea what just happened.
There's a lot of really poorly cut, like, action sequences, but this one takes the cake. It's like, there's zero geography. Like, people are just, like, teleporting around the room.
Well, I'd argue the next one takes the cake, because Matthias gets away, and Harry goes to comfort Raquel, but she's like, kill him! Kill him!
Kill me. Kill me. Kill him!
And so he does. He goes out and runs into the outdoors to catch Matthias. And then, wow, it's like poetry. It rhymes. They're on a frozen lake. And Harry's grand idea is to yell and flaunt about like a fucking peacock.
Come on! I'm ready! I'm here! Come on!
Matthias, being the fucking sharpshooter that he apparently is, shoots Harry, I think, in the leg, but from the wide shot that you're looking at, he's clearly, like, very far away. So he nails Harry, Harry goes down, and Matthias emerges from, like, the fog on the lake. Harry's trying to coax him, I guess, to get closer by revealing to Matthias that it wasn't his mother who was the issue, it was Uncle Jonas. But as the viewer, you're like, isn't that fucking obvious?
You think he didn't consider that at any point?
Well, he looks at him like he didn't.
Uncle Jonas is just a stand-up guy, you know? He beats my mother.
He beats her, he fucks her, and then talks about how he doesn't care about me.
Somehow Matthias, throughout his entire life, was convinced that his mom was, like, the issue.
Yeah, but his mom being the issue does not correct for the fact that she did drive him onto the fucking ice. Like they show that in real life, she didn't just stare blankly. She, like, looked at him and was like, oh, I love you, whatever. But it's like, why did you drive violently onto the ice until your son had to pull the emergency brake? There's, like, no reality to where she isn't liable for almost killing him.
The way he's luring him, it feels like a fucking, like, text-based game where you have to put in the right fucking text trees to get him to come.
It wasn't her. It wasn't your mother who didn't want you. It was your father. It would have been better for him.
After you die 5 times, you get the hint that says, coax Matthias toward you. You get through a certain amount of branches off in the dialogue tree, and then you finally hit the right place because Matthias, somehow Harry knew this was going to happen and planned this to happen. Matthias, keeps walking toward him and then falls through a crack in the ice that we don't see Harry put there or anything.
As a viewer, you don't know it's there until Matthias falls through it. While it's true that if you fall through the ice on, like, a large body of water like a lake, it's hard for you to get out because you become disoriented by the freezing cold temperatures, and then you can't find the hole, so you can't get yourself back out. But here it's depicted like it's moving water, and that the water just, like, swoops him away, and it's like, that's not how that works. It's not a river.
Yeah, he got sucked like he was getting pulled down the drain.
But Matthias has been dispatched, and Harry just walks back to the house and then hugs Oleg and Raquel. And that's the end of the movie proper. But while the movie may have ended, there's one last beautiful scene that they didn't, have any faith that people would stay through any part of the credits. So they put it immediately after the conclusion. We see Harry, in his hands, he has a cup of coffee, and he's clinking his metal finger because I guess they couldn't reattach the surgically removed finger that was in cold climate. They couldn't manage that. But Hagen is, like, droning on and on about some case that I'm sure if you've read the books, you'd be like, oh shit.
All at regular intervals and at the same depth, 7 centimeters. Pathologists can't determine what kind of weapon was used, and he's never seen anything like it.
I'll take it.
A cliffhanger for one of the biggest bombs. One of the worst performing movies of recent years.
It's too bad we never got that sequel. I was really holding out for the whole-averse.
In 5 years, you'll see me posting a whole-averse timeline chart so you can watch them in chronological order. And, of course, you start with Rafto's spin-off film. But yeah, in all, what a fucking terrible movie.
Quite frankly, one of the worst theatrically released movies that I've ever seen.
Any closing thoughts?
Ever since that fateful day in 2017 where we saw this in an empty theater, it has permeated our everyday lives and become an inside joke in our friend group. And we just wanted to share this with the world because, as we've mentioned, no one covered this, no one talked about this, And it's just shocking to us because it's just one of the worst movies that we've ever fucking seen. And like, we might say that a lot, or, you know, we might give the impression that what we're talking about is one of the worst. No exaggeration. This is like, it's up there.
Non-Geely division, like.
Oh yeah. I guess Geely doesn't even have its own league. It's like just it's so low in its own universe of bad, but this is the top of the pyramid. It's with the best of them. Like we said, you shouldn't need to watch a movie 10 times to understand. Hopefully, we've set you off on your own journey of watching The Snowman 20 times, and this will be your first.
It keeps finding ways to continue being interestingly bad.
Well, I can think of something that also finds new ways to be interestingly bad. It's the Bargain Binge podcast. And you could go to bargainbingepod.com to see how this hole that's been dug can only get deeper. And you can find links to our podcatchers, whatever. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Look at the merch. Don't buy it. You should never, but look at it. Yeah, buy the Fat Daddo shirt. That's like the one thing I would like to say you should buy. You should be legally required to buy. I want a cease and desist by Universal by the end of the fucking year, people. I want my white-collar crime record to just appear overnight, okay? Let's get it moving, alright? But you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, if you want, I suppose. But, oh my god. Guys, it's snowing. It's the first snow of the year. I have to go. Goodbye, guys. Oh, look at that nice man out there. Oh, he looks so nice.
Dylan, no!
He getting shucked like Shorty on a Thursday. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry.